The story continues as we reached Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Order of the Phoenix tested out the waters of the HD next-gen systems, so Half-Blood Prince should be able to jump right in and take full advantage of next-generation technology. Well, Half-Blood Prince does keep the open-world Hogwarts from Phoenix, but most of the new additions make Half-Blood Prince seem lazy by comparison. Half-Blood Prince adapts the story just about as well as the film did, which is to say that there's little regarding Voldemort's origins, and a bunch of romantic subplots that don't really add up to anything. Most of the scenes from the film are here again, but like in Phoenix, there's just not enough moments from the film that are easy to turn into playable moments. You'll also find yourself flying through Harry's 6th year, as the game can be completed in about 3 hours, though the game's length can be slightly extended if you search for all of the collectibles that the game offers. As mentioned before, the game brings back the open-world Hogwarts, though this time there's not much freedom to explore it right at the start of the game. In Phoenix, most of the castle was open to you right at the beginning, but Half-Blood Prince chooses to lock off sections of the castle until the game feels like letting you explore the other areas. This time you'll be searching around Hogwarts for school crests, which are placed around the school, and this is a better method of exploration than Harry simply being the Hogwarts janitor. Collecting all of the crests will slowly unlock characters for you to use in the game's 2-player dueling mode, but new characters don't really play any different from Harry. You can also find locations now by summoning Nearly Headless Nick in place of the Marauder's map, and he will guide you around in order to find your location. And this does work much better than the footprint system from Order of the Phoenix. But let's face it, the most disappointing parts of Phoenix was that EA created an immersive Hogwarts. They just forgot to put anything engaging for players to do in it. EA believes they have remedied this by providing 3 new activities for players. The 3 activities are potion making, Quidditch, and a refined dueling system. The game constantly has you doing all 3 activities throughout the game, and this would be fine if the 3 activities were any real fun to take part in. Potion making has you following a set of instructions in order to craft potions. This is fun for the first few times, but the game has you brewing potions so often you'll be bored of it long before the end of the game. The game also tends to have you making potions at the weirdest of times. For example, you'll end up going to Slughorn's Christmas party and be asked to make a punch. And then during the scene when Harry takes Felix Felicis, you have to make Slughorn a fertilizer potion. Also, there's no real changes to the mechanics of potion making as the game goes on. The controls for potion making have you selecting the right ingredients and then pouring them into a cauldron. However, the controls can be a bit awkward, especially in regards to pouring in potions and dropping in ingredients. Be prepared to start the entire minigame over again just because you couldn't drop that rat spleen correctly. On the Wii, motion controls probably make this a bit easier, but using an analog stick and a D-pad just makes it become cumbersome. Quidditch finally returns to the series, and it couldn't be more of a letdown. Quidditch now has Harry flying around on rails, with the player just navigating through giant stars in order to increase time for Harry to catch the snitch. Since all you do is navigate Harry while on rails, you don't really feel like you're in any control. There's no way to speed up or slow down, so there's no sense of speed as Harry moves around the stadium. Also, the game catches the snitch for you automatically, making the 3 minutes you'll spend flying around the Quidditch pitch trying to go through stars seem even more pointless, as you know Harry will catch the snitch regardless of your actions. But the real flaw with Quidditch is that the game forces you into warm-ups before going into an actual Quidditch match. A warm-up involves Harry flying around through stars just like in a real match. The only difference here is that there are several practice dummies that Harry has to crash into in order to gain more time. The warm-ups give you no advantage in a real match, and since Harry will automatically catch the snitch anyway, what's the point in practicing? The warm-ups are boring enough on their own, but then to have to go into a real match and fly through the stars all over again with no challenge just makes Quidditch so dull and tedious. And then there's the refined dueling system, which frankly is so broken it's almost humorous. You and your opponents now have health bars, and Harry can now dodge incoming spells. Spells for dueling now include Stupefy, Expelliarmus, Protego, and Levicorpus. At first, dueling seems alright, that is if you fight fair. This means you'll keep your distance from an opponent and wait for them to get up after you've knocked them down. However, you're much more likely to knock them down and then charge into them spamming Stupefy as you go. However, dueling becomes a complete joke after you've learned Levicorpus. Since Levicorpus has your opponents hanging in midair for a few seconds, all you have to do is charge up Stupefy to max power, hit your enemy, and you win. And this strategy even works on the game's final bosses, making the game's ending completely void of any challenge or tension. So the game seems to be really proud of its dueling system, since the game has a ton of duels for you to engage in. You might just be walking down to the Quidditch pitch when a Slytherin will suddenly attack you. In fact, during one mission strand which had me going down to visit Hagrid, I had to fight Crabbe and Goyle a series of 3 times. In regards to the side missions that the game has, there are actually a bunch of things to do. The main problem is that they're the same 3 things you've been doing in the main game. You can make potions in Potions Club, duel with other Hogwarts students in the Dueling Club, and replay Quidditch matches. Much like in the main game, you'll notice that these activities are ranked by stars for your performance. Though you'll finish an activity and be baffled as to why one attempt got you 5 stars and the other only 4. The requirements for getting top scores are not always clear. For example, the only way to get a 5-star rating on some of the Quidditch matches is to have Harry enter a star clearly through the middle and to not have him touch the sides. Good luck figuring that out, since the game doesn't make this clear at all. You'd think with all the warm-ups that the game has you doing, they might have let you know about this important detail. So scoring aside, the 3 activities are terrible since they're just the same things you've done in the main quest, and they're probably the same 3 things that you're tired of doing from the main quest. The presentation is good again in regards to the design of Hogwarts. Even more areas from the film have been replicated, like the Astronomy Tower and Slughorn's office. Character models look alright for the most part. Faces tend to look smoother than they did in Phoenix, but now characters tend to have wide eyes, which makes them look unnatural. The character models for Ginny and Hermione really suffer badly from this problem. And also, what's up with Hermione's character model? I'm sorry, that character model just does not do Emma Watson justice. I mean, it barely even looks like her. Also, there are several technical issues in cutscenes. As for instance, near the end of the game, I was having a chat with Dumbledore, who was speaking, yet his mouth wasn't moving.
You must obey any command I give you, without question.
Yes, sir.
Understand what I'm saying? Should I tell you to run, hide, or abandon me and save yourself, you will do so. Give me your word, Harry. Your word.
My word.
Look, I know that Dumbledore's a great wizard and everything, but I'm pretty sure the dude can't communicate with his mind. In the end, Half-Blood Prince tries, but ultimately fails to build upon the structure from Order of the Phoenix. Exploring Hogwarts can be fun, but the rest of the game is so tedious and repetitive, only the most die-hard Potter fans might enjoy it, at least for a while, before even they agree that it all could have been done much better. Well, can EA reinvent this series and bounce back with the next installment? Oh, who the hell am I kidding? Tune in next time when we look at the unholy mess that is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.